it's what do they call it? Rev hang. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. This is a blast though. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a 2023 Honda Civic Sport Touring with the manual. I have been looking far and wide for one of these, and I finally found one. Before we get in this video though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Stockton 12 Honda here in Utah for giving me some time with this Civic. One of the salespeople that works here actually purchased it, so congrats in advance to purchasing your new Civic. Anyways, I'll include a link to Stockton 12 Honda's website in the description down below. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 1.5 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 6-speed manual transmission. Fuel economy is 28 around town, and then 37 on the highway, with power outputs being 180 horsepower and then 177 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood, first off, you guys can see this one is finished in Boost Blue, which is my favorite color just on any Honda. It looks so cool. And then the Civic's hood design, pretty simplistic. We've got the really cool daytime running lights there with the LED headlamps, and then we do have fog lights down below, parking sensors integrated into the front end, and then notice how the grille is darker in coloration, but we still have the chrome Honda badge. Putting it all together in Boost Blue, this car looks great. Now popping around the side, our tire and wheel setup is 235/40/18 in the front and over in the rear as well. And as for the wheel design, I think it looks really cool. It's kind of like the silver on the top and then the black below that. I love how much like the fender pops out there, or at least the fender lines with this Boost Blue. And then you guys can see the little side skirt there. And then it's the door handles, mirrors, body painted. But then we also have that like chrome strip there at the top. And now you guys can see why this is such a cool Civic. Not only does it have a manual transmission, but it's also a hatchback. So here's our key fob. You guys can see we've got our unlock function, our lock function, and then this is just the unlock for the hatch. And then you got your Honda badge there on the back. And speaking of hatch, popping in, this is the big benefit of the hatchback Civic. First off, we have the cargo cover built in from the factory, which is kind of funky because it like pulls over and across. I've always found that unique. But you get way more vertical storage space compared to the regular Civic, and frankly, it just looks cool. You guys will see that in just a moment. Oh yeah, and when you're all done, just grab that and plop. Now you've got the taillights here for the hatchback, which look really cool. Notice how it kind of like connects together, and then all of our badges, including the Sport Touring badge. We've got parking sensors there at the bottom, and then look at the covers over the exhaust tips. Those look pretty sweet. But yeah, this is where you can see the hatchback design, and again, I was initially not a huge fan of this, but seeing it in person several times and, you know, also kind of like, I don't know, just letting it grow on me, I think it looks great now. Now popping inside, you guys can see we've got this black trim here at the top, and look at the handle, that looks nice, and then really nice padding and stitching down below. And then same thing with the seats. Notice that they're perforated all down the center, and this is one of the big benefits of the Sport Touring is you get a really nice luxury interior. Legroom here in the back of the Civic is actually really solid. We've got some USB ports right there as well. And then headroom back here is also great. And we got a cup holder armrest. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see with the black trim here at the top, and then look at all of the padding down below. All of our window controls, front two are automatic. We got our mirror adjustments, door lock and unlock function, and then the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. Well, we still have the plastic wrapping on the front seat, so we can't see a bunch. You guys can kind of see over the passenger seats. It's basically identical to the rear seats, so it's perforated in the center, and then you guys can see the nice padding on the sides. And then we've got the power adjustments here, and ooh, 3 pedals. And they're really beautiful actually with the finish on them. We've got our stability control right here, parking sensors, that's for the safety tech, and then the steering wheel is manually adjustable. So here's a quick look at our steering wheel. Really nice padding all around, and then you can see the stitching in the center portion. We've got our adaptive cruise control as well as our steering assist. We have our volume voice command controls here on the other side, and then we have our turn signal / light stock, and then windshield wiper stock. Now I've got this full digital gauge cluster here with the Sport Touring. That's another thing that I love about this package, so it definitely makes it feel a little bit fancier, but notice we can scroll through a bunch of different menus here on that side and also on the other side just to see vehicle information, and then obviously use different systems within the vehicle as well. And then we do have an econ mode that we can pop into. Now in reverse, we have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and resolution's pretty solid. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, this is Honda's upgraded unit. So you've got a little volume control here on the side, and then that is to change the radio stations. And then this is kind of like a shortcut bar. As for the screen itself, it responds really well. And so other than that, I mean, it's a touchscreen. And just like other Civics, we of course have what I call the mega vent, because it just keeps going on forever. And then nice padding here on the dash. And then popping down below, dual zone climate, and we have the really nice climate controls that just have that nice click function. Heated seats here for the front, which I'm actually going to turn those off because it's getting kind of toasty here. And then down below, we've got our USB area, 12 volt with there as well. And then we also have a wireless phone charging pad. Now this is the most important thing. We've got our shifter for that 6-speed manual transmission. First off, I really like the shifter head, if that makes sense. I think material use on it's pretty nice. If you're wanting to get into reverse, you just push it all the way over and down. There's no like up or down lockout on it. We'll talk about this more on the drive, but man, Honda makes the best shifters. We all know that. Anyways, we've got our econ mode, your auto stop start, turn that on or off, parking brake, and then we also have a brake hold, which is very nice for a manual transmission to like help you hold on a hill. I just realized I said help you hold on a hill. I'm gonna leave that in the video because that was hilarious. Anyways, really nice trim all around. We've got a couple cup holders here, which is great for your Monster, as you can see. And then nice padding here on the center console. And then I've shown the glove box a million times, so just know there's a glove box. And then you guys can see we've got our control here for the sunroof, regular old sunroof here, sunglass holder, and then we've got a black headliner. Now here's our window sticker for this Sport Touring. First off, what I want to mention is, other than the fact that this has slightly less horsepower than the SI, it has like all the other stuff that the SI has. And I'll see if it, you know, drives the same, because I did live with an SI for a week. But anyways, all the rest of your standard equipment, base MSRP $30,950, total MSRP $32,500. Let's see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off, and actually I'll blind myself so you guys can see a little bit better. There's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And throughout the rest of the rear. And let us set off. I am so very excited. Now I'm sure this is going to drive, my guess at least, is this going to drive exactly the same as the SI, which I don't think is a bad thing, because the new Civic Si drives amazingly well. It's super comfortable, and you know, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It's got enough horsepower that it feels decently quick, but it's not too much to where you feel like you're just going to constantly like have to break the law to actually have fun with the car. And I got to get myself set up a little bit better with these pedals. But first off, the transmission in this is just amazing, and that's expected. Honda makes really good manual transmissions, just with like the feel of everything. The clutch itself, just super light. There's not like a lot of feel there, I guess, but it, you know, the shifter itself, I feel like it makes up for everything, because the head of it, like I said, feels pretty sweet. And then just also like putting it into the gates, again, I'm just in the parking lot, and it's already fun. It's already fun. Now, next thing you know, steering wheel feels super high quality, and that's something that's really cool about the new Civic, is it definitely feels more luxury than the previous generation. And you know, when you compare it to other cars in the segment, like the Corolla, feels a lot more luxury. Oh yeah, this transmission is, yeah, I love how the clutch, even though the clutch doesn't have a lot of feel, it's super light, so it works. It works really well with this whole setup. I find it interesting they don't have a sport mode though with this. Yeah, this thing's phenomenal. So yeah, suspension's really good. It's very comfortable. As a daily driver, the new Civic is just amazing. Yeah, it's so notchy into the gates, and this is actually pretty easy to rev match downshift. You know, usually these 4-cylinders, especially inline 4-cylinders, aren't really the most blippable, right? They don't like to rev up all that much. But this one's, it's not bad, actually. This 1.5 liter is not bad whatsoever. Seat comfort's really good with this, actually. Although I'm sitting on the plastic and not the seat itself, it still is actually pretty solid. Not a lot of, I don't have the brake hold on, not a lot of rollback even without the brake hold. Now it still does the Civic thing where like you have to wait a second. You can't just like, So basically what you have to do when you shift with this is you have to let off and then shift. And so there is a little bit of a lag from one gear to the next, and that's just, it's, what do they call it? Rev hang. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. This is a blast though. Other than the, you know, the rev hang's a little bit annoying. I wouldn't say that's a deal breaker for me though. But this thing's quick. Like it's not like gonna blow your mind in terms of how quick it is, but like, again, it's fast enough where it feels fun, but then it's also not so fast that, like, I don't know, like I literally could like rev it out there and I'm not like going crazy. I'm not going 100 miles an hour, right? Yeah, this shifter is great. I'm so impressed with this. Okay, that was a bad rev match downshift on my part. I missed the RPM amount by probably like 500 RPMs, which yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. I promise I know how to drive cars. Yeah, the suspension on this is so good. This thing handles so well, but it's also so comfortable. Yeah, Honda killed it with this new Civic. So there we go. That was a much better one. That was like right in line. Yeah, summing things up with this, I think this is the Civic sweet spot. Don't get me wrong, the Type R is so cool. It obviously has more power, but like $32,000 versus $45,000, and that's obviously before, you know, the market adjustments. The Type R, right, on average is going for like $10,000 to $20,000 over MSRP, so makes the price gap between the cars even greater. And so I think this is the Civic to get if you can find one. This is still rare. I feel like these are just as hard to find as the Type Rs, but if you can get a hold of one of these with a manual, I would rather have this than the SI. And you know, you could do a lot for the $13,000 price difference between this and a Type R. That's all I'm gonna say. Let me know what you guys think about these sport touring